What is up, everybody, and welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm Jacob Turner. He's Andrew Jones again, right across this very Smith Center court right there as he gives me a little quick wave. And AJ, we're here for a quick daily drop. We're rolling this on Monday. We decided why not. We mentioned in our Three Things video, why not do a quick drop? It's always challenging with the quick turnaround. Funny enough is what we're essentially going to be talking about in this drop coming up, because we were talking off camera before we started this, kind of talking about topics we can kind of hit on it here. And we started saying you got the quick turnaround against Clemson at home on Tuesday night. Then it's followed up by a trip to Miami this weekend now, since this is Monday on February 10th, 4 o'clock tip off. That's not going to be easy. And then a couple days later, you've got to go up to Syracuse and play for a 7 o'clock tip off on the 13th. So not only is it a very tricky kind of turnaround for Carolina, because you're coming off an emotional game against Duke, as it always is. You got Clemson coming into the building a couple days after. That presents its own set of challenges. But AJ, when you look at the 3-game stretch in particular coming up for North Carolina, man, it doesn't get much easier, because I know we talked about it in Three Things. You got a Clemson team that's desperate, that needs some wins. You got a Miami team in a very similar situation, and heck, you got a Syracuse team in a very similar situation as well. So very, very tricky 3-game stretch coming up for North Carolina, starting with Clemson on Tuesday night.
Yeah, again, the season is full of tests, and every game is a test to some degree. And that's one of the things I love about the season. That's why I don't understand why fans don't watch games against Radford in November, for example, because you learn about your team, and you see the team learn where areas it needs to grow, and you see the things it's doing really well. And then, of course, a month and a half later, they're still doing those things well. Sometimes a club's really good for a month in one area, then they're not. Remember how good Clemson shot the ball, how well Clemson shot the ball from 3-point range before the Tar Heels win to Little John a month ago? Well, they haven't been doing it since then. Tar Heels got them off track, and they haven't gotten back on track. So that's what I love about the season, is the different things that pop up. And this now is the beginning of the second part of the second half. They're 10-1 in the league, and they do it having already taken care of Duke in the manner that they took care of Duke. So how does Cormac process that? How does Harrison process that? How does Armando and how do Armando and RJ process it? They've been there before and done that, but you saw Franklin Street. You and I saw the kids rushing out of the building. They didn't rush the court. They rushed Franklin
Got trampled.
It's like they won a national title. And so they're going to get a lot of attaboys. And there's going to be a ton of people reach out and say, boy, you were great, especially Armando's going to get him, although I think Armando can handle it. So it's a different kind of come down. They needed to bring themselves, they need to shake the tree a little bit after Georgia Tech. Tomorrow when they come into practice, Hubert will probably remind them, hey, Duke shot 50%, guys. You only out-rebound by 1. For all the things you guys did well offensively, they were never out of the game until about 30 seconds left. So he's going to have to find ways to kind of bring them down a peg or 2 or 3 and get them ready for a club that's going to come in Tuesday night that is a good team. They won at Alabama. They're still the same guys. And today they lost to Virginia at home, where they had a really bad foul on a 3-pointer that allowed a 4-point play, I think, by Isaac McNeely, and Clemson couldn't overcome that. It was too much to overcome. They're going to come in probably not highly confident, so the Tar Heels need to be charged up to take care of business early in that game. If Carolina's not ready to go, and they allow a club with P.J. Hall and with Joseph Girard and with Ian Shefflin and that crowd, if they allow those guys to get confidence and stay in a game, it will become a tussle. And then the Tar Heels are going to have to try to win a game with lead legs, because when you're the team that isn't really ready and the upstart comes in and gets you and is playing with you, sometimes the legs are kind of heavy the whole game, heavy to get going. And I call Clemson an upstart now because they're desperate. They'll still be in the tournament thing because that stupid net counts November, December, basically more than it counts the January and February. But Clemson hasn't been good since the turn of the year. So Carolina can't let Clemson get good. They derailed them a month ago. They can't underail them in this game. So they have to be ready to go. And that will be a big test. And then they've got to turn around and go to Miami on the road. As I said, that place, when there's people there, it's loud. I think it's already been sold out. Everywhere's sold out on the road for this team this year. The Carolina mystique has kind of come back a little bit with this group. and that'll be full. Syracuse will have 25, 30,000 in the Carrier Dome. If the Orange win between now and then, that'll be an absolute must-win game to get into the NCAA tournament. So the next 3 games are against teams I think are NCAA tournament teams. When I watch them play, so that's an NCAA tournament team. They're all 3 teams that could beat Carolina in this building, and 2 of them get them in their own building. So how do the Tar Heels respond coming off this kind of a win with the most attaboys some of these dudes have ever gotten in their lives is going to be a very, very interesting thing. It's going to tell us a lot about this club. I said during 3 things, Jacob, that the Tar Heels, with their performance Saturday night against Duke, stepped into the room of, okay, we have the championship tools. They're in that room now. They weren't in that room before. They were kind of at the threshold but hadn't crossed. They crossed into it. It's a different room. It's a different room that forces sharper mental toughness. And it's also a room that forces you to navigate this 3-game stretch and come out either 3-0, or if you're 2-1, you lose by a point at Miami, you lose by a point at Syracuse, you take care of Clemson at home, you win the other game fairly convincingly, and you're in great shape moving forward. People aren't questioning you. That's what needs to happen in this 3-game stretch, but it must begin with Clemson here Tuesday night. It's a losable game. It's a very losable game, and the Tar Heels are going to get tested.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's always a tricky matchup, especially like we've talked about coming off that off an emotional game like Duke. I was joking with you before. I'm like, I'm already preparing myself for the trap game tweets that I'm going to have in my mentions on before the game on Tuesday night, because they're coming. And again, I can understand people's perspective on that, but like you said, if Carolina is truly, which I do believe, I agree with you, I think they do have the potential to cut down the nets at the end of the year, then this is a team that will, go and take care of business in these games. I'm not saying they're necessarily going to win all 3, but you got to go at least 2-1 in that stretch. And I think a really good team goes 3-0 in that stretch, and I think that would even be really, really impressive if they could do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it a trap game because
I feel like it's overused a little bit. I don't know.
So in Atlanta, a lot of people called that a trap game afterward, not so much beforehand. And I kind of thought they would lose to Tallahassee and then win in Atlanta, so it flipped, right? Mm-hmm. The players afterward, I asked them afterward. I talked to Harrison, RJ, and Armando after that game and asked them, people are going to say, y'all were looking ahead to Duke. You're going to say this trap game. And they were adamant that it wasn't. However, when we talked to Armando on Thursday here at the Dean Dome, he called it a trap game like 3 times. So I think trap games are what you make of it. That's why I said that Carolina's got to be ready to roll. If Carolina's not ready to roll, it becomes a trap game. If Carolina's ready to roll, then it's not a trap game. They take care of business. So it'll be a trap game based on how the game plays out.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Last question for you, AJ. I got 2 questions real quickly. How excited are you to make that trip to Miami, and how disappointed are you that you got to go be in Syracuse, New York 2 days after?
I don't mind Syracuse. I don't mind Syracuse too much. Last year, I had to go pick up my credential from Syracuse, the new basketball facility that Carmelo built, the Carmelo Anthony Center.
Yeah.
I got a tour of it. It was awesome. So that was definitely cool. So what I'm doing is I'm flying to Miami Friday, the game's Saturday, and I didn't want to fly back to Raleigh on Sunday and turn around Monday and fly to Syracuse. I just thought that would just be too much, right? So I'm staying in Miami Sunday, and I'm flying out of Miami Monday morning going to Syracuse. But I have a 6:30 flight, so it's not like I'm going to go to South Beach and
not going clubbing or anything like that.
Run up a $500 spirits tab or anything like that. So I'm actually going to go to FAU and FIU. I'm going to drive down there, and I haven't seen those campuses yet. You know how big a geek I am. My wife actually said this to me Saturday. It was Saturday afternoon. She goes, did you go to some college in Atlanta, like other than Georgia Tech? Because I had that on the day of the game in Atlanta, because came into Atlanta. Actually, I went from Tallahassee to Atlanta as well, and I drove for a rental car. And I said, yeah, I went to Kennesaw State. She goes, why? She goes, that's just so you, because I'll go and check out any college. I look at the stadium, the arena. If I get in the arena, I go in. I remember getting kicked out of Illinois State's basketball arena one time because there was a volleyball match going on, and they were like, you didn't pay.
That's so you.
I just want to see the arena. So I'll go to FAU and FIU and drive around. I love it down there. We're wearing short
I'd do the
pants.
same thing if I were you. I'd do the same thing if I were you, honestly. If I needed some time to kill,
So
I
I'll
would
be in
just
Syracuse. I'll be in Syracuse Monday night. It snows every damn time I go there. This is ugly and nasty, but it's a cool place, man. If you have not been to a basketball game there, Carolina fans, if you have the time and if you don't mind traveling up there, I would go up there sometime. It's a cool place to see a game. It's different.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's special. The people know basketball. They love it. The league needs Syracuse to get rolling. The league needs Louisville to get rolling. Another great place to see a game. Virginia's getting better. They need Virginia to do what Virginia should do. And they need Duke and Carolina to be great. And if that happens, you have the best combined culture of those top 5 programs, fan bases, anywhere in college basketball. No one else can match that. And the league needs that.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I had to ask because it's the back-to-backness of Miami and Syracuse. It's quite the contrast in the middle.
The thing is, I have to take something warm to wear, a pullover. But that's all I'm going to take is a pullover. I took a pullover to Boston. It was 7 degrees.
Yeah, you're not scared of the cold, AJ. This is one thing.
Because my dad always said, my mom passed away 10 years ago, and my dad has this picture of her in this house, and he'll tell me sometimes, your mom is looking at me right now, and she's telling me, remind you to wear a coat. I'm like, Dad, it's in it. So the players are wearing shorts and tank tops. It's kind of warm in the arena. What about when you're in the car? I said, all the rental cars I have now have heat. So.
I had to ask, man. I love it. We'll go ahead and get out of here because I know you got about 7 hours of work to do after this.
See, this is your favorite part. This is your favorite part of these shows, when you drag me into these alleys. I'll talk about Jalen Withers dragging guys in the alleys. You drag me into these alleys sometimes.
Hey, man, I'm trying to channel my inner Jalen Withers over here, man. Trying to get you to see what alleys I can take you down. But
a long way to go.
I just like to see. I like to see how long I can. Yeah, yeah, you lied about that, man. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Though, like I said, you got work to do. I got to get out of here. And I see Kevin Roy waiting for us over there as well. So I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. Another daily drop. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell too. See y'all next time. Thanks.